Good afternoon, this is Vincent Wall. I'm here recording my Module 4 Career Connect internship video for my Career Development 3 class for Bryant and Stratton College. I am here with a list of questions and I'll begin doing them now. The first question is to tell about myself and what sets myself apart from other applicants. And for that, I will say that my drive and energy in combination is what really sets me apart from other people. When I am assigned a task, I attempt to do it in an efficient manner which gets done as quickly as possible, and so that I can move on to another task that needs to be done on my list, and to keep these things up to date and set so that they are nothing falls behind. My drive in this too comes to be able to make sure that everything is prioritized in the way it should be, and that everything is ready for customers to access what they need to in a customer service area, which is where I primarily had worked in before. The second question is to briefly describe my biggest professional weakness. And for that, I would say that I can be distracted easily. In particular, this is something that came up in my past experience. I've worked a lot in customer service and the food industry with customer service in mind, where I have to take care of areas in a dining area, the coffee barista area, other drink stations, and it was rather difficult for me to be able to maintain all these all the time, given the wide area they covered. I believe in a more controlled environment, perhaps such as a cubicle or such, where I've been, or in a team effort, I can be more focused on what I need to do when there's less of me needing to travel around and work on other areas. The next question, tell me about where I showed grit in the workplace. For this, it's during times of high customer traffic that I believe I showed the best of myself. These kind of situations call upon a certain level of calm that must be forced through to some degree through your fear of messing things up. I found myself in many situations during my time in the food industry where customers come through in high volumes during lunch and dinner hours, and I have to focus on what my job is and follow through on that, such as maintaining coffees in a barista area, stocking napkins and such in that thing, while answering questions if the customers have any, and making sure I put a smile on the whole time. This is a situation where I've dealt with other coworkers who tend to freak out a little bit, to be as best I can describe it, and I will remind them just to do their job and then tell them they're doing a good job. And I believe I've been able to handle that by and large. It's really about keeping a list in your head of what needs to be done. Okay. The next question is to summarize myself, where I see myself in 25, 10, 20 years. In 5 years, I would see myself working at what is finding my groove in the IT industry of where I want to be. I'm a little distance about what I should properly be in, because this course brought me a lot of new avenues I wasn't aware of. I believe hardware repair would be the best one, but I could also see myself doing networking, where I would help install and control how the equipment is maintained and laid out inside office buildings. And I can see myself being part of a team where I focus on aspects of that, such as putting the cabling through ceilings and deciding on what type needs to be done, and working well with others to make sure our efforts are streamlined and able to get the job done the way it needs to be. Beyond, above that, I would say myself afterward, move into a semi-leadership position where I help direct people on where they need to be, as well as picking out the correct equipment and or placement of said equipment to put this stuff together while continuing to work in a team in order to get projects done the way they need to be. The next question here is imagining how I would handle being promoted into a workplace. For this, I would say that I would remind anyone I had formerly had as a peer that I have not changed my ways. I am merely following along through guidelines of how to keep everything in order and how to make sure that their stations are managed and checking in, so to speak, that they're fine with where they are, and any questions they need answered, they can come to me anytime they need to and ask, and I will do my best to help them. I will not be overbearing or abusive to this in any way. I want to make sure everyone is working together without any problems. The next question is to identify what kind of person I have difficulty working with. For this, I have found that the most difficult people to work with is ones who I would describe as having a low morale or crack under pressure. I've worked with people that when situations get tough, they get very fed up with the job and start talking about leaving the place, even if they're sometimes still working, but eventually these people try to end up leaving the job. And I do my best to try and keep the morale up, but it's often hard to get through to these people and make them see that everything will be alright as long as we follow through on the procedures that we've been taught on this job. I just don't know how to properly help them with their stressors as well as I would like to, and the way I handle it, which involves staying on task. I don't particularly have any problem with these sort of people. I just hope I can learn better skills in the future in which to perk them up and make them not have a difficulty with this in which they crack under the pressure. The next question. Explain how I would handle conflict in the workplace with coworkers or with clients or patients or customers. When it comes to customers, I've seen my fair share of working with customers that can be a little difficult. And the best thing to do is to remain calm first and foremost. And this also applies to the customers. When they have a question and they have a problem, I ask them what's going on and to lay it out for me so that I can understand what they are having difficulty with, and I will attempt to address the problem myself if possible. A lot of this comes down to them possibly misunderstanding what's happening, and simply walking through what it is they may not understand usually gets through this. Other times I've had to just simply direct them to someone else above me, one of my superiors, in order to let them help let the problem be solved, to get the problem solved. And while I'm doing this, I always maintain a good, I always help keep, I always smile and work with them without getting angry, because no problems can be solved in anger. We must remain calm and figure out what can be done. And when it comes to coworkers, this situation involves studying the same way in which we remain calm, and I try to figure out if I've somehow offended them, what I did wrong, and how I can make amends for this. If the other person I'm speaking with, I have never experienced this yet, but if they feel that I've unjustly offended them, I will just go to my superior and discuss it with them, and so that the escalation of the situation does not become worse. The next question is to detail what motivates and inspires me in the workplace. I'm motivated in the workplace to help customers so that their satisfaction and enjoyment of coming in to work with us or to be serviced by us is up to their standards, and that I can help them any way possible. I also enjoy working with other people and fulfilling what the job requirements we need to do, and encountering new things in the jobs, especially in regards to where I want to go with helping install or rebuild hardware and networking, and that kind of new things, discovering new things and new ways to help people really makes me excited to go to work and to get things done. I also enjoy working with my team and finding out what their day's been like and what they're experiencing and what they see about the workplace that we can make better. Last question is to summarize what I like best about my current and most recent job. My most recent job was at a Panera Bread, and what I really liked about it was similar to my last question, with the people there that I worked with. I enjoyed being around them and feeling part of a team. As I have some difficulties communicating, I like to try to improve myself there and make sure and who be that to get everything they need done to work together. Pardon me. Yes, to work together and to keep the ship sailing smoothly, as it were. And I'm no longer working there now, simply only on the fact that I have moved out of state with my girlfriend and her family, as we are seeking job opportunities out west. And I'm trying to complete my schoolwork in order to find a job that really satisfies me, and working with customers on their with hardware and networking style work. The Panera Bread, while fun and helpful to me in working in a team, was not the place I would want to work with for the rest of my life. And this concludes my interview process for this video. Thank you for hearing me out, and that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Yes.